Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. My name is Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And I'm really glad to be with you here on Monday. Our episode's getting out a little bit late today, but that's because we've had so many things going on. But I'm really glad you're here. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about your perception for a few minutes. See, the perception that you have of problems right now are either going to become the roadblocks that hold you back in your life and in your business, or they're going to become the doorways that lead you to solutions. And most people don't realize that this is a very simple truth that you have to be aware of in your life. So today I want to talk about that. But if this is your first time listening, I want you to do me a favor and subscribe. Don't miss any of the episodes that we have. I'm going to be doing some really good interviews this week. I'm going to try to bring you experts and thought leaders and strategies and tactics you can use to create your best life in your mind, your body, your money, your business, everything that it's going to take for you to be focused and have strategies that will help you go to the next level. So let's get back to talking about this idea of perception, because it's not a problem itself that's stopping you. It's actually the meaning that you attach to the problems that's stopping you. So problems in our life, we all have them. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's trying to deal with different things. But a lot of times we get caught up in the problem. And what we don't realize is that it is all of the meaning that we attach to these problems that are affecting our life. So two people, for example, can face the exact same situation and have completely different outcomes simply because they choose to interpret what's happening differently. Think about a football game. I've talked about this before. One play can literally be a miracle for one team and a disaster for the other. And it's the same play. It's the same moment, completely different meaning though. And that's how life works overall. Your meaning determines where your mind goes next. And wherever your mind goes, your energy flows. And so if your mind is focused on the problem, it becomes heavy, reactive, overwhelmed. And if your mind is focused on solutions, that's when it becomes creative and resourceful and powerful. That really brings me to this critical shift that you've got to make. And that's how you view success and failure. This is one of those things that I've talked about a few times because one of my early mentors wrote an article about this. And most people believe success is good and failure is bad. But that mindset's going to stop you dead in your tracks. That mindset is going to keep you from getting some of the best success and progress you have in your life, because failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the process that leads you to success. You've got to remember that every step you take, every setback you have, every lesson that you've learned is moving you closer and closer if you allow it to. And so when you see failure as something to avoid, you stop taking action. But when you see failure as feedback, nothing can stop you. This is why problems are actually a good thing, whether you like it or not. And without problems, without obstacles and maybe resistance, you're never going to grow. You wouldn't want to. It's one of those things where if you want to develop strength and resilience and confidence, you need to start looking at problems as something that help you. It's like lifting weights. If weights weren't heavy and difficult to stress and tear apart the muscle, it would never grow. Your muscles wouldn't grow, your strength wouldn't grow. And life works very much the same way. Unsuccessful people want their problems to be smaller, but successful people want to become bigger than their problems. So I'd like you to ask yourself, who do you want to be in relation to what you're facing with your problems right now? What version of yourself? The one that's gone through it, grown, developed, and gotten better? Or the one that is struggling with the problem and seeing it as an obstacle? Here's something to consider. When you're in the middle of a challenge, it can be very overwhelming, almost unbearable at times. But as time passes and you look back, it's like Wayne Dyer has said, when you look back on the tapestry of your life, you take on new meaning. Your perception changes. Most of the things that you maybe were dealing with in the past that felt impossible eventually became turning points for your life. Moments that taught you lessons, moments that shaped you into who you are right now. So that's the perception that matters right now. Looking at your problems as a gateway and finding ways to realize that when you look back on your problems, they're not going to be the same as when you were facing them. So let's talk about how you shift your focus towards solutions. One of my mentors taught me something years ago that really stuck with me. He said, I don't want to start with the problem. I want to start with the solution. And it went past me over my head at the time, but the more and more I reflect back on that, when you start from solution, when you don't focus on the problem and how you can get around it, but you start focusing on solutions, it's a very powerful habit and a very powerful thing because problems drain your energy and solutions create momentum. And it's an important reminder right now to remember that you are not your thoughts. And so when your thoughts are directed at solutions and abundance and things that will solve your problem rather than the problem itself, you will see so many more benefits. You can observe your thoughts, you can redirect your thoughts, and you can train your mind to respond differently. And this is where discipline comes in because, your brain forms patterns based on repetition. And the more often you react to things emotionally, the more often you're focused on the problem, the stronger that habit is going to be for you. And the more often you pause, you take a breath, you look for solutions, the more automatic that's going to become for you as well. You don't eliminate problems by avoiding them. You eliminate problems by training your mind to see the possibilities in those problems. And so one of the fastest ways to interrupt negative patterns is by focusing on your goals. I've talked about this before. When your goals and dreams and visions are in front of you, obstacles lose their power. You've heard that before, right? That when dreams big enough, the facts don't count. Your dreams become bigger than the challenge in front of you. And when you focus on your dreams, you focus on the future version of yourself that's willing and able to tackle these problems. That's when things are going to shift for you. Not to eliminate the problem, but to grow beyond the problem. And when your mind is consumed by obstacles, it can't really create solutions. And so the topic of today is really about that prosperity pillar number 5. I focus on solutions. And it's a real, I guess I would call it like it tailors really well with the attitude of abundance. But it's this filter, it's this perception that I want to really hammer down and I really want to talk to you about. And I really want you to use in your life this week and moving forward. Are you focused on solutions? Or are you caught up reliving that cycle of those problems that are happening in your life? See, you can choose to become proactive. You can choose to focus on solutions. You can choose to see the positive. And it's not just about, Tony Robbins said, he's not a believer in positive attitude stuff because at the end of the day, you can't just think positive through a solution. You've got to create solutions. I'm a realist here. But what's really important is that the filter and perception that you use, including the philosophy you take on life, is going to shape the results that you have in your life. And so you've got to learn to change the filter, focus on solutions, start from solution. And when you do that, I think you're going to see some tremendous benefits in your life. So I hope this is a message that maybe at least inspires you to think about how you're approaching problems in your life. And as you go throughout the week, how you can focus more on solutions to take you where you need to be. That's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing day. I look forward to talking with you more throughout the week. We've got some amazing interviews that are going to be coming up. And then we're going to be doing a new launch of a different format for the Daily Mastermind. My goal, and we'll be talking about this more throughout the week, but my goal is to help you as a founder, entrepreneur, business owner to create your operating system for your business, which is your mindset. Your mindset is the operating system for most entrepreneurs, founders, and business owners. And it's all about finding more clarity, focus, and discipline in your mind. Strategies alone are not going to do it for you. Strategies are great, but if you don't get your mindset right, none of those things are going to take effect. So we're going to talk about that more this week. Do me a favor and share this show. Let me know what you're up to. Hit me up on the Daily Mastermind. By the way, feel free to email me at george@g3worldwide.com. I always respond to my email. It surprises me just how few people are willing to hit up and ask for help. But I do that. I don't sell anything on this show. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you, and I hope that's something that you find value in. Once again, my name is George Wright III. This has been the Daily Mastermind. Have a great day. Talk soon.